Today we're talking about sheets, mulching fabrics, and especially the mulcher to lay down sheets automatically with the tractor, like in this case. So this will be a pretty detailed video where I'll show you how the mulcher works and how to set it up. In short, I'll give you all the information so that you also know how to use it. Hi to all the farmers, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to use the DSV tractor mulcher. It's a mulcher that I have at home which has become part of my equipment. I've been using it for almost 4 months now, and this is already the third round of mulching I'm doing. I used it to set up the entire summer garden. I've already set up the autumn garden, and now we're going to lay down the sheets for the winter garden. So it took a little more time, but I waited to make the video just to give you all the information and tell you how it works and how it doesn't work. Since the mulcher is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult farming tools to set up, in fact, it's like a Swiss watch. If you don't set it perfectly to the centimeter, it doesn't work well. How is this mulcher made up? I'm talking about this mulcher because since it's a handcrafted product, DSV or Craftsman, they can make it and set it up according to your needs. Even though the frame is pretty much the same in all their mulchers, the first thing I'm going to show you is the roller in the front, which spreads the soil in the best way. This is important because if we have a flat surface, the film can be spread more easily. Next, we have the first furrowers, which create a groove in the soil so they make 2 small ditches where the film and the drip tape are laid. In my case, we have 2 drip tape holders. We will plant lettuces about 40 centimeters apart from each other, staggered. The film is already perforated, of course, so I prefer to use 2 drip tapes to water. It's better that way. So the film is laid down, and then we have small wheels that press the film down. And then finally, the 2 ridges that close the furrow so they bury the film. To get the best performance from your mulcher, you need to prepare the soil as well as possible. It should be as finely crumbled as possible, as timely as possible. The best tillage before using the mulcher is usually done with a rotary harrow. That's because it can break up the soil in an excellent way. This especially helps the ridges that open and close. It's basically the place where our film is placed. It takes a bit of skill. My advice to you is to buy the mulcher outside of the season when you need it. Let me explain. You know what I would do? If you plant in spring, get it in autumn. That way you can start using it and really understand the settings. You get pretty comfortable with it, so once you're in season, you know how to use it at its best. During the season, things usually move fast, so that's my advice. Because I started a bit in April, I didn't really go straight ahead, not that well. The machine also requires a certain skill with the tractor. I'm using my classic Mini Toro 60. Leave me with the power steering. In this case, the power steering isn't great because the tractor tends to move with just a little, so the sheet doesn't come out perfectly straight. You have to be a little careful, of course. As we get the hang of it, it works better. Now for every single setting, whether it's adjusting the spring tension, how much to open, how much to close, you have to get out there and try it yourself. In this case, the machine isn't set up yet, so you can see it. Let's say it's not set up yet. The first tip I'll give you is that the wheels should never be parallel, but slightly tilted inward. This will stretch our fabric better and you'll see it's less effort, so I'd say let's get started. I've already shown you something, haven't I? Now we'll show a series of clips of various operations at different moments precisely to see how the machine works. See, that one was right because it opens and then closes even though it should close a bit more. Here instead it didn't go to cover, so we'll make a correction. The first few meters, even though I've marked them, things are always a bit like this. You need to go over them a bit. The hand is fine. That's the good and bad thing about this job, you learn. See, now it's working, right? The speed of the tractor needs to be as constant as possible. Once, look how well it's tightened now, and now you can go. The skilled ones go even faster. I prefer to go slow. One of the problems is also how we set everything up. Here the hose got stuck for a moment. Why not use plywood for the sides? You need that there too. For each mulcher though, it's better to get the mulcher first and then the sheets. I did the opposite because I already had the right sheets and the right rolls that fit your mulcher. Don't underestimate it because otherwise it's another thing you have to pay attention to. Anyway, the work is perfect. Let's go and keep going. When you start again, always start slowly. Never make a sudden move. At the end of the run, take out the small knife, cut the sheet and the hoses and start again. I have fairly narrow strips, so it's an action I have to do several times. Naturally, the longer they are, the less work you have to do. In this field, there are still a few weeds and so on, but they don't really cause much trouble. However, try to clean up as much as possible, maybe with the row makers or the roller if you see any weeds. Anyway, the work is precise. Let's continue. What a little job. Spectacular. What a show of a little job. The soil is in perfect condition. Everything is fantastic. You see, the first few times, look, I didn't do it this well. You saw there too that I made a mistake, but don't be afraid. You stop, reset, and start again. The pajamatrist always gives me an evil anxiety because it's hard to set up. It's hard for everything to always go well, but when it works like this. Look how nice the sheet effect, nicely stretched. Now tomorrow we'll go transplant and we'll be all set. The machine works very well, like I told you. It needs to be set up. I particularly like how the DSW works. There's also a comparison with them. So sometimes if you need some advice, ask them for some information. They're really very helpful. And above all, you understand how to set up the machine as much as possible according to your needs. This makes the difference. Anyway, down below in the description, you'll find the DSW website with the machine. Matt the Farmer, see you in the next video.